This is Kristine Reynolds from the Rubber Cafe design team, and today I'm going to show you how I made this adorable coffee break K-Cup box using supplies from the Rubber Cafe's February Creative Cafe card kit, which is called Tea for Two, and the available add-on stamp set Coffee Break. This box is perfect for holding 2 little K-Cups, which is great for any gift-giving occasion. In addition to the supplies from the kit, today you will need some type of a scoring tool, score tape, classic round and classic scallop dies from Spellbinders or some other way to cut your pieces, some scrap happy sheer glue from the Rubber Cafe. We're going to use Versamark ink for embossing and some Memento ink. Some type of markers. I use Copic. You can use whatever you like to color with. Some scissors and a pencil. I think that's everything, but let's put this thing together and see if I forgot to tell you about anything. Alright, to begin with, we're going to start with the green cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and we're going to score it. And you don't need to remember these measurements because I will put them on the blog as well. But you're going to start by scoring 2 inches lengthwise on each side of the green cardstock. And then we're going to turn it. We're going to do 2 1/4 inches across. So there's 2 1/4, 4 1/2. And then I'm going to flip it around just to make it easier. And this end is going to be 2. And then at the 4 1/4 mark. And that will get you all your score lines. So we've got 2 inches on each side going down. 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/4, and your very last one is just 2 inches. Going to go ahead and fold in on all the score lines just to make it easier to put our box together. And the last one. Very long up. Alright, I'm going to take my scissors, and this is the end with the 2 inches. And on that end, I'm going to cut the corners out. And then, going along the sides, just cut each of these lines up to the fold line. And around, we're going to do the same thing on this side. So that is the beginning of the box. The next step is going to be to draw our K-Cups on here, and we're going to draw those on this spot, the next space after where the where the corners are cut out. We're going to use our pencils, and first I just kind of get those lined up where I want them with good spacing. And, I want to do that from the underside so that my pencil lines will not show when I cut them out. Okay, that looks pretty good. And I'm just going to draw a circle around that one. I apologize, I don't think you can see those lines too well on the paper, but I think you get the general idea. Now when you go to cut these out, you don't want to cut right along there, otherwise your K-Cups will fall right into the box. You want to cut right inside the edge of the circle. So I usually just like to get a piece cut out, and that makes it a little easier to trim around. And then I'm going to come back in and just trim, I don't know, probably 1/8 of an inch from the edge of that circle. And it doesn't have to have perfect little edges or perfect symmetry, because the K-cup will cover up a lot of those mistakes. So then I'm going to just take my K-cup and stick it in there, and it needs just a tiny bit more. You can see that. I don't want mine to stick out. If you want yours to stick out, you could leave it like that. So I'm just going to trim a little bit off the edges. This must be so monotonous to watch on video. Okay, that lays flat. And then I'm going to do the other side. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, now we're going to put this thing together. And basically you can see how this is going to go together. And you're just going to fold these all in. And the shorter edge is going to be the back of it. So on the front edge, I make sure that that part, the front flap, is my final flap. And that's just because I like it to look nice and smooth from the front. So you can see how that's all going to go together. And the way I'm going to put it together is with the score tape, but I'm not going to do that right now because you can figure out how to do that. The next piece that goes on here is another piece of green cardstock. It's your back panel. You're going to cut it 6 3/4 inches by 4.5 inches. And then put some score tape on the back of your box and just tape it down like that. And so then you just have a green box that's ready to decorate. And I already have one all put together and ready to go. And it's one I've been playing with, so it's got a few marks on it, but we're going to cover all those up. So you can see there's my box. And I'm going to start by doing the back of it. I'm going to use a piece of the yellow polka dotted basil cardstock that comes with this month's kit. And I've cut that to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I'm just going to add some glue. And I'm going to place that right down on my box, like so. And then I cut a piece of this pattern paper from the paper pack that comes with your set. And this is the back side of it, just in case you're having trouble finding it. But it's the one that says, oh, happy day, and cherish, and happy memories, and remember. And I just thought it was good for giving a little bit of copy to a friend for maybe no reason, or maybe a special occasion. And this is just a tiny bit smaller than the 4 1/4. I think it's probably 4 to 4 1/8. I didn't really measure it. I just cut another panel 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 and then just trim the edges. So you can see it on there, how I put that on. The piece that's going to go on there, I've already done as well. And I started by cutting out a piece of the cream basil cardstock that comes with the kit. I went ahead and stamped it with this adorable lady from the stamp set. And I colored her with Copic markers. And then I cut out a round circle from the polka dotted yellow cardstock. And I'm just going to add some glue and go ahead and pop that on there. And then this panel is a scalloped edge circle that I die cut with my Spellbinders dies. And this color comes out of the Cartabella paper pack that comes with the kit. You can tell the other side is kind of a beige color. And we're going to go ahead and add some glue to the back of there. and then pop that on there. And then she is going to go right smack in the middle of this square panel. Hopefully you can see that. I just love her. I think she is so cute. Looks like I got a little sloppy with the glue, but as I've told you before, and as you probably know if you use this great glue, it dries totally clear. So all my sloppiness doesn't matter. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is decorate this front panel. And we're going to start with a panel of polka dotted yellow cardstock, and to be honest, I don't even know what size this is. I measured this box and then just trimmed it smaller, but let's see what size this is. Let's see, it looks like it is a little bigger than 4 1/4. Let's call that 4 3/8 by 2 1/8. And again, you might want to just make sure that's going to fit on your box before you swear by that measurement, but that's what I came up with. And that is going to go right there in the middle of your box. And the next panel is another piece of the pattern paper, and I just trimmed it down a little bit smaller so that it would fit right there. And we're just going to keep getting smaller and smaller. The next piece is another piece of the blue cardstock that I cut from the Cardabella card pack. And that is going to go right down there in the center. And let's see, if you're curious, it is about 1.5 inches by 3 1/2. And I'll put all these measurements on the blog so that you can have them there. You don't need to write them all down. The next piece I've already done, but I will explain to you how I did it. And I cut a piece of cream colored cardstock. I'm just going to move that out of the way so you can see this. And I stamped it with 2 of the stamps from the stamp set. This hot coffee stamp is right here, and then the There Is No Life Before Coffee I stamped right here. I stamped those both with the Versamark ink, and then I embossed them with the embossing powder that comes with your kit. If you haven't opened it yet, oh, it smells like coffee, so you will enjoy that, and I just want to emboss everything and make my whole craft room smell like coffee. After I embossed them, I colored them with Copic markers. You need to be careful when you color with Copic markers with embossing powder, because the alcohol in the markers will dissolve your embossing powder. So just go ahead and color, but try to stay away from the edges so that you don't rub up against the embossing powder. The next piece that I have is this cute little coffee mug that came from right there. And I stamped that and colored it with Copic markers and then fussy cut it out. And we're going to add that to this piece right there off the edge a little bit. And then we're going to take this whole piece and put it right on the front of the box. Like so. And that is your finished box, and your K-cups will fit right in there. And I just think it's so adorable. Any of you who follow my blog know that I make these all the time. I've made some with hot chocolate with some different stamps, and this would be really cute. You could probably adapt the top of this if you're a tea drinker. Instead of cutting holes, maybe cut some squares that would fit tea bags and put those in there and use the tea set that came with this month's kit. So there you go. There's the coffee break K-cup box. Didn't take us very long to make it. Once you get started, you're going to get addicted. You're going to want to make these all the time. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you come back soon and check out what all the other designers are doing. Have a great day. Bye-bye.